lodged in the other shoulder. Right in his shield. To avoid cutting as many bristles. Too while I'm at it.
Sorry?
I'll give you a little narrative too while I'm at it.
Yeah.
Including a few caveats. So this is best done with a skinning knife. This is a general purpose knife I carry out for gutting and field dressing. And ideally you'd have a gambrel or a spreader bar that'd spread this wider, makes the whole job a bit easier.
Yep.
But I should be right, I get the general idea. I will say I'm pretty fucking slow at skinning pigs, but the general idea is to start on the inside of the leg like this and run it up about there. And go around. You should go around like that, but I'm always really paranoid about the edge on my knife, so I try to do it from the inside of the skin in little bites. Takes a bit longer, but it keeps the edge of the knife, because these boar bristles, I can't stress how bad they are for the edge. They blunt it like you wouldn't believe.
Have a look at this. Our dog just didn't have any energy.
Oh, that guy, yeah, he's got plenty of energy to root. He's flirt with the shields. Oh, that fella, he never has a job. Always seems to have women hanging off him somewhere.
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow. Who knows how. Yeah. It might be hard to get on camera really nicely because I tend to swing the bloody
pig in every direction.
Yeah. I usually start opening off down here. So there's a fat layer attached to the meat, and with pigs, unlike with other animals, you've pretty much got to knife all the skin off the whole way. So if you're skinning a sheep or a deer or a goat or something like that, so you put in your basic cuts and then you can basically rip the skin off and it comes off in a nice piece. But with these guys, the fat and the skin are attached. I take a lot more care if it's a fat pig and I'm cutting it for myself, butchering it for myself. I want to keep every little tiny scrap of fat on it I can, because wild pigs aren't often that fat, and the fat you get on them is valuable. So keep it. So open that up, come around the back. There'll be pros out there looking at this with horror, I'm sure. You know, what's he doing? Well, I answer that, well, I'm doing it the way I taught myself. no one really showed me. I hacked at it until I had a way that kind of worked for me. And
he does have a lot of fat, this bloke.
He is. He's in good condition, eh?
That's just unreal.
No, this is a very good boar. It's a shame we had no choice to leave him in the sun for 6 hours. Otherwise, I'd be definitely taking some choice cuts of him. So, yeah, just being a little careful. So I've just opened up around his back leg there, come to his tail. Find the joint in there somewhere. You can see there. Just nick that.
Yep.
Just being careful because it's a good little handle, the tail. Alright. So from here, what I often do, especially if I'm doing it for dog tucker and I want to do it in a hurry, is I'll actually split the hide straight down the middle.
Yep.
Just makes it easier for the...
Once again, from the inside.
From the inside, always from the inside. And this knife is not the ideal tool for the job. Not really designed for it, but it'll make do. There we go. I'm hacking into a bit of meat there, but this is for dog tucker, so I'm not overly fastidious about it. Normally I have my... Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? Look at that back fat.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing wrong with the condition of this pig. He was on a good paddock. Mm.
Probably why you seem to get decent pigs there.
Mm.
Obviously something they can eat is good.
Yeah, well, split down the brisket as well.
Yep. Toby.
Opening this one up, there's a little bit of an art. Well, at least the way I do it. Old knife is starting to suffer. So I'm going to sort of open it up to that point and see the skin starts to run down the front leg. So around here, I'll just sort of cut it through there so I hit the back of his front leg. And from there, you know, open it up all the way down here, sort of thing. Then you can keep going around his body. And so there's a sweet spot between the shield and the fat layer.
Yep.
Get your knife in. If you start hacking through the actual shield material itself, it's slow going. So ideally this is done with a skinning knife. Much more suitable tool for the job. So the bullet went in.
Bullet wound.
I can get to the other side, we'll find where it...
Which way was he facing? Oh, he must have been facing that way, yeah.
Yeah, that's his head was...
Hit him just on the front of the shoulder, right?
Yep.
I guess. You can see aim in the centre of the front.
Mm-hmm. You got him.
Probably could have gone for a headshot.
Oh, first shot with that rifle, buddy.
Yeah, played safe, mate.
Yeah, that's
would have been
it.
pretty disappointed having him standing out there like
yeah.
blasé and clean miss him or something. Or
Yeah.
take the bristles off the top of his head or something.
No, the other.
Look at the fat on him.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
God.
And I've been really rough with this skinning, and I've taken all this fat off the top of his back steak there. It's still on the skin, on the hide.
Man, that's like a bloody port pig.
Yeah, it is, yeah. He's
Literally.
superb condition for a wild pig. Really bloody good. Put him on my emergency stone, I think, which is something I try to avoid with my nice knives. It's a
Harsh edge.
yeah. A 10 diamond stone I'll keep in my thing. Obviously seen, yeah, better days, but it's does the job.
Something to carry in your first aid kit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Just helps, especially if you caught a few pigs during the day and yeah, gutted a few. The old edge tends to wear off a bit. So. Yeah, that's still pretty horrible. But,
Tick down on his leg still.
what's that?
I got a tick just there.
Yeah.
I thought it would have dropped off, to be honest. Him being dead for so long, but it's obviously
He's persistent.
not getting a
He's been pretty
Great.
committed to this feed, eh?
diet. Yeah. That is his head stuck in the bristles, isn't it?
Yeah. Keep that fat still attached.
That bullet must be in the skin there.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
Let's pull this bullet out. There you
Wow, look
go.
at that mushroom.
Wow.
Performed as it's meant to, eh?
That's unreal. Might even take that in and show Cliffy.
He'd be very interested to see that.
Yeah, I reckon. That's amazing. I've never managed to recover a bullet.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
They're always bloody straight out the other side or they're somewhere in the middle and I can't freaking find them.
Yeah. Like deep in the bone somewhere.
Yeah, I've never had one pull up on the skin like that. That's perfect, eh?
You know, this whole fella, if we had treated him right, could have gone into sausages just as is, and there's probably enough fat on him to make nice snags. But yeah. Anyway, we'll bone him out for dog meat. But, you can see these belly flaps here. That's where the bacon comes from.
They'll be happy.
On a domestic pig, it's a lot fatter, sort of like so.
Yeah.
Layers of meat and fat.
Still layers of meat and fat there, but like,
Oh yeah,
more fat than there is meat.
there is.
Unreal. And that proper real fat, not like, yeah, not like a skin layer fat.
No, not just bloody gammon membrane with a little bit of fat cells in it. There's a proper
Yeah.
layer of back fat there. No, he's a lovely pig.
Oh, we would have made some good roasts, I reckon.
I'll start boning them out. You can see that bone there. There's a joint underneath it. You come underneath that, cut in.
Yep.
Now, we usually come up on a bit of an angle like this around, so keeping in touch with the bone that runs through. When both of these are hanging up, you got to be careful not to cut a hell of a lot higher than this, because you'll end up cutting this tendon, and then the whole show drops on the ground. So coming in here, this is the sort of inside of his pelvis, really. And just use your knife and follow that round. Like so. Around to his backbone, where his tail used to be. That's what I think. And then sort of do this bit at any stage. I tend to do it now, but you sort of run your knife down his backbone so you can go both sides. You need to go both sides anyway. I'll just come the opposite side of the one I'm working, but that's alright. Come down there.
Oh, man.
What's that?
It looks delicious, eh?
Oh yeah, oh it's great, yeah. Yeah, no, if we hadn't been rough as guts,
Oh, man. Imagine that. Like
it
this.
would have been beautiful.
That on it.
Yeah. So in here, I mean, it's a bit hard to see because the dogs have chewed the shit. but there's two sort of main muscle groups here, and there's
Missing.
They're now missing. However, what the dogs have done is sort of exposed the seam that runs between them.
Toby, do you know anything about this?
Do you? Hey?
Do you look guilty?
I'm guilty as hell. Yeah. But anyway, you can sort of run your knife down there, to basically open it up along the bone. I can see the leg bone there. So this bit's a bit dicky in here. I'm going to get in there. You can see these two strips of muscle running either side of the backbone here and here.
Yep.
They're your tenderloins. So if this was a beef, these would be your eye fillets or rib fillets, I think. But what I normally do when I'm boning it out for the dogs, Toby, not yet mate, just run the knife along the backbone under that muscle like that, and it's really soft. It does no work, this thing, so it's not attached very hard, and you can release it with your fingers like that.
Unreal.
So if you're taking that out by itself, you'd sort of cut it off at the top of the thigh, but I just keep it on the whole show when I'm boning it out for the dogs. A bit of a hash job here. Should be right. It's only dodgy if it doesn't work, hey?
Oh, it's only wrong if it doesn't work.
Ah, sorry mate, I'm not making a good job of a display
What's
here.
that saying? It's only broken.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
That's
the
it.
one.
That's the one. But normally this would be hanging up out of the way, and you just work around the pelvis like this.
You probably should have put 2 hooks on actually, I'm thinking of it.
No, well, you could do. So anyway, we should be able to see what we're doing anyway. So the pelvis comes in like this, and then flares out again a little bit. And just work around that. So you come to a point where the pelvis basically stops. And you can cut through in there. Right, so you come straight across under that pelvic bone, right up to the backbone, and then you start releasing your back straps. Right, you do that, and you come to the first rib here, or the last rib, depending on your perspective on things. I'm just going to get this bloody leg out of the way.
Yeah, it's not really achieving much.
It's not really, so yeah, you cut around there, there's a bloody ball joint.
You'd say ruin a ball joint.
Yep.
Yeah, yoga, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like my dogs to have as much food as I can get. So I tend to run my knife sort of along the rib, that back rib there, and just kind of gently release this belly flap, like so. There's a lot of good fat in there anyway, which we'll retrieve at a later date. But if you sort of run your knife along there.
I see what you mean about the fat just being mixed in. Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fat layers.
Fat layers. Man, this is a little pedantic. You can bone these out a lot quicker if you're willing to leave a bit more meat on the ribs, but I figure that you're going to the effort of doing it anyway, you might as well get as much as you can for it.
Especially when you just dragged it back from an
Yeah,
hour or two away.
that's it. Alright. We're chopping and changing a bit here, sort of doing it. It's a bit of a butcher job. I'm a butcher by reputation, not trade, that's for sure. So what we've just come under here is the shoulder blade, top of the shoulder blade.
Yep.
So if anyone has ever fucking worked out a way to bone out the shoulder properly while it's still on the animal, I'm fucking all ears. But most of the time, what I do is just drop the whole shoulder off and take it to a table and bone it out from there. So yeah, you basically just come, you can see the backbone dropping down here.
I wonder they drop so fast.
Yeah. I'll just get rid of all that stuff off. The easiest way to kind of see how it's set up is just to hack into it, more or less. It's a bit of a botch job, but you can see there's a bit of a knuckle here at the top of his hock. You cut straight into that. You'll hit the bone, and you follow the bone up. Another little ball joint, which is just there, which is the start of his shoulder blade. Now getting all the meat off the shoulder blade is a bit of an act. So there's a flat side and there's a side with a ridge with the shoulder blade. So this one here is the flat side, it's just a straight plane. Now it sort of comes around a shape like this and then runs like that. So you come over this side, cut down through here to the ball joint. And then follow that round can sort of see that bone, shoulder blade's kind of released there, like so.
Yep.
Rough job, but should be alright. But that's not all.
Coming out pretty good, really.
What's that?
It's coming out alright.
Oh yeah. I suppose there's any way you can do this that works, but often the way that works for me is just to flip them over and then just follow the plane of the shoulder blade on the other side, like so. Alright, this is where it gets tricky. So there's a ridge that runs here, and it sort of comes up and it curls over like that. So you get your knife under this bit, scoop it out that way, and you get it from that way, and carve down that way. So you feel the little point of it there. Put your knife in. Release it like that. Then it's one of those things that's probably really hard to show on camera. It's the kind of thing you've got to almost work out by practice and feel. But if you have a look at it, at least you can sort of get an idea of what you're working with. Kind of thing. That's your shoulder blade.
You can see that cup there.
So right at the top of this shoulder meat is a really nice cut called the Boston butt if you're in America, or the neck, pork neck if you're in Australia, or the copper if you're in Italy, or the capicola is another word for it.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful bit of meat. It's really marbled fat.
Yeah.
And you can use it for a nice slow roast. Makes for the best sausages.
Yeah.
It's makes a beautiful cured product as well. So anyway, that's bone out. So that's one side done. I remember when you shot it, when we walked up, and I said, "Oh, you've got it right through the best part of the meat."
That's that.
That's that. But whatever. There's other nice parts of it as well.
Got it. So.
Yeah, you got it. Better than not getting it. By a long shot. So that's one side. And you know, my way I figure it is that dog food is not so cheap that if I'm killing it anyway, I can afford to leave it lying around rotting in the bush. I'll make every effort to carry out as much my pork as I can.
Yeah, well, what was that story you were telling me this morning?
Oh right, yeah. Well, I had a bitch who, no matter how long I let her out for before we went for a hunt, would jump on the ute and within 5 minutes would shit on it. Drive me nuts. I know that there's plenty of other blokes that have the same problem, and it's horrible. It's, yeah, real dirty and drive me mad. Anyway, I was down at a seminar, dog training seminar by Greg Tompkins actually, when he was in Townsville, and there was a woman there who was a dog trainer from Darwin. I said, "Hey, have you got any ideas on why this is happening?" She said, "What do you feed her?" I said, "Oh, biscuits, you know, not the cheapest biscuits, but you know what most of us will feed our dogs, sort of mid-range $50 a sack kind of working dog biscuits."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, the trouble with those, even the reasonable ones, is that they're full of cereals and fillers, and these bulk out the dog's intestines and bulk out the dog's guts. And when the dog gets really excited, when it gets on the back of the ute, knowing that it's going to go for a hunt, it can't hold in all this bulk in its intestines, and that's when they shit." And I thought, oh, that's an interesting thought. Look, I'll give it a go. And so I went back and I started feeding this bitch, this lady's suggested proportions of about 2/3 meat to 1/3 biscuits in a meal. And lo and behold, within a day, the problem was solved and never came back. And I've taken mates' dogs that are famous or infamous for shitting on the back of the ute, and looked after them for a few days, and within 2 or 3 days of taking them off straight biscuits and making the bulk of their food meat, it kills it. It really does.
Not a whole lot of just filler sitting there doing nothing. It's actual
pressure.
protein and
That's right.
stuff a dog needs to use.
Interesting story Greg Tompkins told at that seminar actually was a crazy mate of his, or someone he knew, who went to the extent of weighing the food in and weighing the food out. So he'd weigh how much really food he put into his dogs, and then he'd collect all their turds from each individual dog and weigh it.
That's dedication.
That is dedication, and he was working towards getting the absolute best conversion of food to energy possible. I think he got, I can't remember the number now, but it was something like, he got down to only 5% of the initial weight of the food as wastage, and the rest was absorbed by the dog.
Oh yeah, that's
So
phenomenal.
I mean, that's dedication if you wanted to go weighing their turds, but
Better than me.
Yeah.
I swear more comes out of me than what goes in.
yeah. Well, yeah, when I'm back in the day when I only fed them dog bickies, because like a lot of people thought that was all right, they wouldn't sell it, would they, if it wasn't good dog food? Trouble was, there's no regulation of the pet food industry in Australia. There's only self-regulation, which means that people get away with whatever the hell
They can do whatever they want,
Yeah.
as long as they tell themselves it's okay.
That's right, and tell each other, and everybody keeps quiet and
Yeah.
scratches each other's backs, then it's everything goes well for everyone. But yeah, most of those bloody, unless you're paying for ultra premium biscuits, and I'm talking $150 a sack here, not $50 a sack, then a lot of what you get is cereal fillers, which are just useless for dogs. They can absorb so little of it. Some more than wild dogs. But
I mean, it's like I'd never not feed my dog biscuits, probably, just because it's
it's a good
it's filler pretty much.
filler, yeah. I still feed my dogs biscuits, but in that proportion.
Need a ratio,
Yeah. Just I try to make the majority of the volume of their food meat. They just do better on it, I find. There's less shit around the yard. If I've been unsuccessful for a few dry runs, my missus starts complaining about the amount of dog shit that's starting to accumulate.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how much you go out and look for them, there's always fresh ones somewhere.
Yeah. Take the cleaver and everybody run the ribs off the other side, and then I'll cut the spine into sort of bone chops. Pelvis stays in one piece, and then the legs all get sort of broken up into their separate joints, and I'll freeze those bones individually. And
surprising what you can use for the ribs, like literally anything heavy that you don't really care about the blade, you just they're not held on that, like they're not that strong really.
no, half of it's held on by cartilage. What did we use last time? A cane knife.
Yeah, machete.
A machete, was it? Yeah.
Cut through it like nothing. Which is relatively surprising, really.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and like, and that just helps me to keep the videos coming. Hopefully try and keep one coming every week or two, around the same time, around the start of the week. Cheers guys, hope you've had a good day.
Oh well,
That's that.
that's that.